process work in a
for a lot of it, the sales process has to align with the type of business. Like if I'm a Dow, a Cargill, a Poet, what have you, I need the rail. There's no way I can grow my business without the rail. It just really doesn't work. So why should I then not be first in line for asset allocation? Why should I take a back seat to really spot markets that come? But yet you see it peak after peak that the rails will chase that spot market because and then put their best long-term customer in the second or third chair because they're chasing a little bit of incremental price as opposed to growing their long-term customers who's really going to support the capital investment that their company needs.
And so I guess that implies, and just aiming to understand the capacity allocation to order process, that a rail like, CN or UP would set a timetable, which is, I guess, what area, what time, and orders, come in for that capacity, and they're allowed to make a decision on whether they, accept them or delay them for the next train.
Well, yeah. So, or they could say, hey, you know what? This shuttle's going to give me $50 more car, so I'm going to go for that shuttle as opposed to a Cargill or a CHS, even though that Cargill and CHS is there year after year after year. And the rail will chase the price. If you guys look at 5-7 years of revenue and volume by like total customer, and you'll see this trend. It's there for every class one. But yet you will see them make the decisions on the short term because the rails do not want to live that. They cannot agree how to segment their customers. And so they will chase short-term opportunistic price as opposed to building their customer relationships capacity over a disciplined level over the long term.
Did we lose? I think we might have lost Stephen. Okay, so back to the S&OP process then in a little more depth. Could you walk through how that typically works for a rail, sort of starting with the long-term demand planning and forecasting, and then coming all the way into rails, sort of shorter term?
Yeah. So rails tend to do basically demand planning in 1 and 5 year disciplined processes with more short-term processes on a quarterly basis. That's real, and the quarterly basis one is really effectively for the street, so they can make sure that they can basically get their costs and their dividends in place to report that. So what they'll do first is they'll do a long-term, a 1 year demand planning process where they'll go through and forecast. Now, a lot of that forecasting should be at the detailed origin, destination, customer, commodity, and car type level, because that, and then they do have the statistical tools to do that, but they do not use them because that level of accuracy is what you really need to do to build up accurate operational plans. Crew allocation, maintenance, you name it. So what they'll do instead is basically do high level both customer and commodity